we have some old ropes from last year that we'll be using again, and we're using them on the old pots. They're looking a bit rough. I did buy some new ropes this year which have gone on some of the other pots. What I tend to do is I take the old ropes when they get really worn out, and I'll use them to wrap the pots up like this, and it's just a continuous cycle basically. Buy new ropes, use them for the pots for so many years, then use them for the bindings on the pots. And of course when the pot's dead, we take off a lot of the plastic, reuse the plastic bars, take the weights out, reuse that. The old net will be thrown, and the old sort of rope and that's on it, and of course the wooden base will be broken up and burnt in a wood burner. So we try to do it that way. Saves money, slows down the environment impact maybe a bit as well, maybe not, who knows. Now if you want to know how the pot is set up, what we have our guide rope which goes to our floats, which is here, which then goes to this is the rope that goes to the seabed, to the first pot. The first pot is like this. So you put that on there to stop the pot from spinning up and twisting up the rope, because it can twist the rope up really badly if it moves in a storm. So you have that on it, which helps to prevent that from happening. So it goes that way, plus you'll have another rope from one of the ends of the pots which goes into there. You just tie a knot, and then that can spin that way and spin that way, and basically it stops it getting tangled up. So you put that down to whatever depth. This is around, I've got about 140, 160 feet of rope, but I put these out quite far. And then it goes to this rope, which is the second pot, and you just literally tie that straight onto the end of the rock. You don't need a spinner on the end pot, not when you just do two pots. And yeah, that gets tied to that. So that will come up first. Pull that one up slightly along your deck, and you keep going, get to the second pot. Now this one, the leads have gone a bit weird, but that was because we employed a winch this year. And you can see it's been pushing on the lead, because this lead is quite thick. So I need to remove all this lead, get some new one, because it gets a bit twisted and hard if you use the same one. This lead will go into a pot which I'll keep for melting down to make fishing weights. And we'll put some new lead on there, then we'll coat it back over nice and tight, because I've got to be a bit more particular now. But now that I've got a winch, I've got to make sure it runs through the winch, whereas before all I had to do was wrap it around and coat it with the tape. Right, I better get on with that. Well, the gulls know it's time to go fishing. They're getting all excited. The only thing is, I'm running out of tape. I've ordered a whole load. Should be arriving in a couple of days. So try to buy everything in one go, so I've got it for the next couple of years, as opposed to just buying it for one rope or just for this year. Again, this is just some old recycled sheet lead. You can buy it as well, but it gets quite expensive if you start buying it from new. And this tape, when it goes over the lead, it gets very hard, like a casing. But it does crack off quite easy once you've cut into it, he says. Well, it doesn't actually. Basically, it gets put over just to stop the lead from unwinding or catching on rocks, that kind of thing. But like I say, when this tape is warm, it's quite soft. When it gets cold in the water, it goes very hard. So it's ideal for this job. There we go, it's an old one. This one, you'll see you can just pull that off, and you've got the bits of lead that you can melt down again for weights. Just chop them down there for now. do is I'll get some pliers going to make sure they're tight. Like I say, this year with the winch, I'm going to make sure these leads are tight, there's nothing they can hook on, and they're not bulky. So they go through the winch nice and easy without getting stuck, or not stuck, but pushed up like they were last year with those old leads. I do have some thinner lead, which would be even better for these slightly thicker ropes, but the trouble with the thinner lead, obviously the thinner the lead used, the less weight is going to be as well. Normally give it about 2 coats of the tape. That's usually enough. Obviously these things are going to be dragging around the seabed, so there you go. And I normally space them about every 12 feet on the 10mm rope. And that should be plenty. Sounds like the postman. I know what this is. Let's have a look. Oh, they're big. Bigger surface lures that I've picked up. They look quite good. A bit squished, but as long as the lure's not broken. Some more sea spin ones. I got these big ones. I wanted to try them out. I saw them the other day and they've got a nice colouring to them. They basically skip along the surface. They're much bigger. I've used some small ones like this and they work alright. So there you go. Hopefully we'll do the bid. Got a lot of rattling to them. This rod and reel, this is one of the main ones on the boat. Now this is a very old rod and reel. This is a Penn 320 GT, and it's been going for quite a few years. Now there was 2 of these originally. This is the other one. Now this one's having the same problem that this one had, and that is that when you release the drag, which is here, and you try to free it, it will not come out. Now this one was getting quite stiff years back, and this one seized up so badly that I've never been able to actually free. So I ended up turning this into spare parts. Apart from that, there was nothing wrong with it apart from that you know, the drag on it. So I decided to donate this one as parts for this one. So it's been sitting in the box for years, and now we've got this one. Now I'm going to open this one up because it's done exactly the same thing. Basically, you cannot free that. It's completely jammed. So, I mean, you can do that, obviously. You can let the line out. But you can't, if you get a big fish, it's not going to let the line out. So I'm going to take it apart, have a look. If I can't fix it, then this one will be binned as well. But what I will do is I'll try and free it. If I get it free, I might donate some more of the parts off of this one to this one. Because as you can see, possibly, maybe not. This one is quite ropey compared to the parts on this one. So we'll open it up and have a look and see what we can find. It's just 4 screws that holds it on around the outer edge. We'll see what's going on. Is it full of water corrosion? Is it still thick with grease? Let's find out. No, it's still packed with grease. You can see the grease is very dirty, but it is still packed with grease. There we go. It's tight, but I mean, that should do it. Let's put the old spool in and try to free it. Edge of the spool is corroded badly. The other one's fine, it's just this one. Yeah, that'll do it. Tell you what I need to do. Right, try again. Need to free it up in case it's corrosion. I'm using the old spool in case I knacker up the end. Get a bit more. That may look a mess, but it does the job. Protects the reel, keeps it running for years. Like I say, on a boat reel, you want it to be... I mean, this reel is... Oh, how old is this reel? I've got no idea. 10, 20 years old? There we go. See what we got. That one, so we can listen. Okay, let's unwind that a bit. Put that there. There you go. Fixed. Let's tighten it up. Yep. Yep. And it should release. Yep. Good. There we go. That's fixed. This is still a bit, but it works fine. Just the spring's a bit sketchy on it. So there you go. All ready for another year, that one. Just checking on this one as well. This is like the other one that's on the boat. Again, it's an old reel. This is the 310, but as you can see, it's got a different handle in it. This was a handle off a Shakespeare. The old handle got worn and loose on there, so I recut this one because it was smaller to fit on here nice and tight. So it's been fine for the last couple of years, but it's so thin, the metal that it's latched onto, that it's not going to last forever, that one. But it still works. And for sort of mackereling and just catching pollack and that, this one's fine. Although that shouldn't be happening unless Yep, that's good. And finally, for today anyway, this is another one. This is a Western tackle one. Can't remember its name. It's rubbed off on the side there, but it's a DB 4050, something like that. I wanted to get the next size up, but they'd run out of stock, so I only got this one. But it's holding up, and there's enough line on this. It's got braid on it, so don't worry about the sound. That's me with the. I think it is anyway. Yeah. But this one seems alright. It's only been used a couple of years. So. But these are the reels that tend to get left on the boat, and they, you know, they're old reels, or this one's been around for a while, even hasn't been used. But any good expensive reels I take off, or I just take with me when I go. Some oil around there because that's a little tight. That's fine. If you remember this one, this is the one that hold on. This is the one that suffered from all that corrosion when I stripped it all off. The corrosion, sanded it, and just gave it a respray. So we'll see if that slows it down. The actual reels are alright. It's just it was, you know, it's quite thick, so it's not going to eat through the bodywork that quick. Just got to reline it. Right, it's another day, and I need to take the propeller off the Suzuki. Now last year when we had this on the boat, it ran fine, perfectly, once I'd sorted the thermostat out, of course, and it had a slight issue where it wouldn't go onto the plane. Now it should get onto the plane, and it just wouldn't quite make it. It was almost there, and I know it was almost there because one time when it was quite choppy, I bounced over a couple of waves, and it actually put the boat on the plane, and it stayed on the plane after that, until obviously I de-revved it, and then when I tried to put it back up, it was just holding again. So the idea is I'm taking this prop off, and I'm going to get a different pitch on the prop to give it a bit more, hopefully a bit more oomph to get it just on the plane. Like I said, it's so close to getting on the plane, and it should do. It's not running as fast as it should, and I'm pretty sure the engine's running perfectly fine, but there's something not quite right. We've tried weight distribution and all the rest of it, balance, you name it, tilting, angles, everything. Nothing works. So the only other option we've got is the pitch, which I think may be the issue, because the prop looks alright, but it looks a bit worn on the edges, and I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming this is the original prop from it. But anyway, I need to get the prop off, and there's some numbers on it which on the end which tells me the pitch of this prop. And I also need to move this. This just came in today actually. This is tape, and the tape is for when we do the ropes, for wrapping around the lead to keep the lead thing. Now, if you ever do use this, you want to get the tape that is, it's like a matted colour, not the shiny one. It's matted, and when you actually take it off, it's more like the professional kind of stuff. I'd say professional. It's like the old stuff you used to be able to get, because some of the modern ones you buy are almost like plastic, whereas this has got more of a stretchy, rubbery effect to it. And you'll see, because you can stretch it quite far. If you can do that, that's the stuff. Now this stuff doesn't come off then. When you put it on, it goes nice and tight, and it seals down, and it won't come off. Whereas if you use the plastic one, it's not as good. It's too, if you pulled it like that, you'd snap it. Anyway, back to the engine. I'll also get a new split pin and replace this one after taking this off. I'll keep this as a spare, obviously. You never know when it might be useful, but I'll put a new one in. If I get it out in one piece, of course, because sometimes it can go a bit skew with. There we go. Right. This is a 17mm. See if I can do it without locking the prop off. Oh, Struth. Just try and loosen it first with a little bit of oil, because it is quite tight, this one. There we go. Thrust washer, everything looks good there. Looks good. Yep, everything looks fine there. Now, number. Well, there it is, but it seems to be a 9 1/4 by 12, so it's a 12 pitch prop anyway. Which is, maybe it's not a pitch problem. Maybe it's a rev problem. Maybe I'm not getting enough power, or maybe it's too big for that boat. Well, not too big, but the wrong angle for that boat. Don't know. It's going to need further investigation